Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm extremely excited as I'm finally getting to review the Five Nights at Freddy's Jazwares Endo Series Wave 1 figures, being Freddy, Bonnie, Chica and Foxy. Now, the reason why this video is coming out so late is because these figures are extremely rare, and the people that manage to get their hands on it always put the prices up by like 5 times the original price. So I'm so lucky to find these at the original price. So yeah, that's the main reason why this video is coming out so late. But first-hand impression on these figures is that, does it kill Funko? I would say yes in some aspects and no in others. But yeah, let's mainly go through these figures first and then compare them to Funko and then of course the Widgets. So first let's go through Freddy, where if I'm not wrong, I already reviewed Freddy in my Shadow Freddy Endo series figure, and my opinion on the Freddy model has kind of changed over time since that video came out, where I think it's good. The coloration is the main issue, where the coloration of the suit is like a brownish orange color, and it really looks like a child-friendly animatronic when this is supposed to be a killer animatronic. So yeah, that's my main issue with Freddy, is the coloration of the brown is more of orange brown, and also especially the eyes, where the eyes are a bit too big in my opinion, where it's giving much more of a cute looking Freddy than a scary looking Freddy. And if you can see, I actually put like white dots in the middle of the eyes to at least give it to make it look uncanny a bit. But yeah, other than that, the model I think is 100% perfect. Alright, next we have Bonnie. Now, Bonnie is a different story. I think this figure is quite sad on how bad it is. First of all, the body is mainly the same as Freddy. However, my issue is the head sculpt. The jaw doesn't look like it. Something about the jaw makes it doesn't look like it's from Bonnie from the games. And yeah, the jaw, it doesn't look like the one Bonnie has in the game. And then the ears. I don't like the ears being this stiff, where it's just straight. I feel like every Bonnie figure should always have the ears flapped down a bit, and I think in the future Jazwares you really need to incorporate where either some articulation for the ear, or you sculpt the ear where it's bending down a bit, because this makes it look quite weird. But other than that, I would say it's a decent figure. Now, Chica I think is actually perfect. I think Chica is perfect. The only issue I have is mainly an issue that all Endo series figures have, being the eye pupils are too big. But other than that, I think Chica is actually a one-to-one recreation of Chica from the game. And I think she is the best out of all of them from the first game representation for the figures. The only weirdest thing I find with her is her arms, where due to the sculpting, her arms can only go down this far, where she looks like a bodybuilder basically. So I find that funny, but other than that, I think the model is the best out of all of these figures. So yeah. Now, unfortunately, Foxy is the worst, in my opinion, out of every single one of them, mainly because, first of all, he looks fat. Second of all, they didn't actually cut off the endo pieces, but that's mainly due to a law in London for some reason, and also they didn't paint any of the endo parts at all. So yeah, other than that, I don't think it's a good Foxy figure, mainly because it's too fat. Now, how do they compare with their Funko counterparts? Let's start off with Freddy first, and I think that the Jazwares Freddy model is completely way better than the Funko model. However, in this case, Funko wins in one thing, and I think that this is a thing that the rest of the Funko figures have over Jazwares is the coloration. The coloration of their figures are more accurate to the game and aren't too bright to the point where it gives off like this is for kids, where like bright colors kids love, yay. But the Funko figures always have like a very darker skin, a very darker color scheme to them, and I think that is more accurate to the games, unfortunately. So, but in this case, coloration is the only thing Funko has. Overall, I would still say in this case, Jazwares is better for Freddy. Same thing can be said for Chica, where Chica's coloration is too bright here, while the Funko one is more accurate to the games. But other than that, Jazwares Chica is way better in my opinion. Now, this is a different case, which is quite weird, as in this case, Jazwares' coloration of Bonnie is actually more accurate to the games than Funko's depiction of Bonnie. Yeah, weird, as Bonnie is the only one that is actually doesn't have any bright colors on him compared to the rest of the Jazwares figures. However, one thing the Funko figure has over the Jazwares figure is they actually sculpted their ears at an angle, while Bonnie's ears on the Jazwares figures is just stiff as hell. But yeah, still overall Funko beats, no, sorry, not Funko, Jazwares beats Funko in this scenario. However, for Foxy, this is a completely different story where I would say, unfortunately, Funko wins for Foxy, mainly because Foxy from Funko is actually almost one-to-one identical with the video game counterpart, where it is very skinny, very lanky, while the Jazwares one unfortunately looks like it's been putting on some weight recently. Not to mention also that the feet on the Foxy from Jazwares is inaccurate, while the feet on Foxy from Funko are slightly more accurate to the first game. So yeah, other than Funko Foxy being better than Jazwares Foxy, I think Jazwares has done a great job with all of their figures. The only thing they need to really improve upon is first, the coloration of the suits. They really need to dial it back and make it less brighter on their figures. They have to be reminded that this is a horror game and not a kids game. Even though nowadays Five Nights at Freddy's is more of a kids game, well, a kids starter horror game. But still, it's a horror game at the end of the day and not like a family-friendly game, so they should really dial the brightness back. And secondly, they should change the size of the eyes, where the eyes are just too damn big on their figures to the point where it looks like they're very cute and not really scary at all. But other than that, I think Jazwares is doing a very decent job, and I think they are doing way better than Funko. Now, with these Endo series figures, they also came with parts for the withered animatronics. So unfortunately, that'll be a video for another day, but I'll put the link in the description below when I do upload the withered video. But until then, have a nice day and see you till next time. Bye bye for now.